monotony of a long season. 6 months, things can kind of feel the same, but this Subway Series brings a jolt of energy, certainly to both teams. And Clay Holmes facing his former team, the Yankees, for the first time. Boy, has he been good as a starter.
He's been absolutely excellent. Loving that sinker movement. You will see that sinker anywhere from 92 to 95 miles an hour. He wants to get soft contact and ground balls all day long, but has really worked on that breaking ball and that change-up tunneling off that sinker as well. Very important pitch for him to get success tonight.
StatCast powered by Google Cloud. It's all about ground balls for Holmes. A lot of quick outs. The former reliever as a Yankee, now starting for the Mets. Our pitcher scouting report is presented by Car Shield. That's second best ground ball rate in all of baseball over the last handful of years.
Oh, it helps going to be a starter, especially in Queens. You want to go deep in the ball game. You have to be pitch efficient. That's why that sinker is awesome. Produce those ground balls, keep your team in it, and you have to be efficient. And can he be the frontline ace? With all these injuries, he has to be for them to fight back within the division.
Well, he is the first Mets starter to go at least 5 innings with 2 runs allowed or fewer in each of his first 8 starts in a season. So Clay Holmes will try to keep that streak going here tonight, looking to make it happen in 9 straight starts as he faces Trent Grisham to lead things off here tonight for the Yankees. Yankees 1-5 on what's currently a road trip, although they didn't have to go too far for this one. It has been the first bump in the road this year for the Yankees coming into this weekend, having lost a handful of games in their last 6. The Subway Series is underway. The first pitch in there, a strike from Clay Holmes. Grisham had a career year last year. He slugged 34 home runs, although it was mostly home run or nothing in terms of his extra base hits. He only had 10 other extra base hits all last season, but he sure made them count when he would get a hold of one.
Absolutely, and they need him to return to form, hitting 175 in the first 43 games, but 13 of his hits, extra bases.
Now Grisham looks at a strike there. Wasn't sure about it. Could have challenged it. Did not. There's so much talk about when to challenge as much as whether or not a challenge will be won or lost.
A lot of managers have discussions on when they want to challenge, especially early in the ball game, allowing that manager to keep those challenges, especially late in the ball game, pretty close. Richard might have felt like it was up.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Trent Grisham. And that breaking ball lands at the top of his own strike 3. Now Grisham wants to challenge, but he's going to lose this one.
I love that the hitter and the catcher have discussions after every challenge.
Adam Beck's don't play umpire. Actually looking at the ABS challenge here powered by T-Mobile. Grisham might win this one. No, he did not. It is strike 3. It's hard to tell at the very top edge of the zone, but Grisham had a clearer one that he could have won on the previous pitch. On this one, it is strike 3.
Also, just don't want to lose your first challenge on the first batter of the ball game. And with that type of life and that type of movement, and you see the grimace right there, like, this might be a tightly contested ball game. You might want to have one of those in the back pocket later on.
Well, you don't want to say grimace around here. He helped the Mets get going a couple of years ago. In 2024, when the Mets turned things around in early June, they're hoping for a similar turnaround this year as they are 18-25, and that's after going 8-4 so far in the month of May. Ben Rice has pulverized the baseball to start the year. 1 ball, 1 strike the count on Rice, who's hit 13 home runs. His average over 300, his OPS close to 1100, and he's hit everything hard to begin the season. It's really a start of things that were in the forward progress for Rice going back to the middle of last year when he started to really do this more consistently, and he has been outstanding to begin this year.
Talking to Aaron Boone, he says he's purely just a stud, and you can see him grow up and really develop as a true power threat in that lineup.
3 balls and a strike on Rice. If you ask Aaron Boone, he is not surprised whatsoever about what Ben Rice has turned into as an offensive player. He's playing first base pretty much every day now, though they still work in Paul Goldschmidt against left-handed pitching. As Rice fouls one away, and it's 3-2.
Rice does a good job of putting himself in hitter-friendly counts, but you see the movement by Clay Holmes. Even though he falls behind, he can throw that sinker middle, and trust him with late life and movement.
Rice was a 12th round pick. It has been a development over time here for Rice, who had a pitch up in the zone there. and fouled it back. 3-2. Our Yankee lineup presented by BetMGM. It's Aaron Judge batting in the 3-hole behind Ben Rice. So many left-handed hitting options for Aaron Boone against a right-handed starter. And they can flip it a little bit too. I mentioned Goldschmidt. Ahmed Rosario, the former Met, is on the bench for them. So when there is a lefty on the mound, they don't have to be so left-handed dominant as they are here tonight. Judge and Volpe, the only right-handed hitters in their lineup. Long at bat here for Ben Rice after Grisham struck out. This is the 8th pitch coming up from Holmes. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
The right fielder, number 99.
What did I miss? What did I miss? What did I miss?
Aaron Judge is the batter, and while the reception in Queens might be a bit on the icier side than what he's used to hearing here in New York, it just goes to speak to who Judge is and what he brings to the baseball field, because it is a resounding noise, whether it's boos or cheers here in the Subway Series.
It makes everybody get on their feet and stand notice.
Let's go to the interference.
The Yankee fans starting to drown out the Mets fans by chanting MVP. And Aaron Judge certainly will go down in history as that, a 3-time winner of the award. He's going to be awarded first base here. Lined up. Aaron Judge get on base on catcher's interference.
No, that was definitely not on the bingo card win, but you can see the full extension and Aaron Judge allowing that baseball to travel deep because he likes to hit for power to right center field.
Well, Luis Torrens starting behind the plate for the Mets, as he'll do most of the time while Francisco Alvarez is out. Cited for that catcher's interference, and it puts a big fat to go along with it. 5 years, $162 million.
Yeah, 2.2 WAR, that's 6th best amongst all position players in the AL, and so he's showing that presence and looks good in a Yankee uniform thus far.
That was slugging against them, as the highest slugging percentage all time against them, and has 16 home runs on top of that. One ball, one strike on Bellinger as Judge takes his lead off first. Bellinger pops it up on the infield. This is Bo Bichette near second base, and the shortstop puts it away to end the inning. A clean first for Clay Holmes. Spot today. The Mets have had the worst production out of the number 3 order of any team in the major leagues. So, well, a chance to change that by putting one of the best hitters in all of baseball in that spot. Instead, Soto will hit behind Carson Bench and Bo Bichette at the top of the order for the Mets tonight against a tough customer. Man, Cam Schlittler has been unbelievably good.
Fun to watch the young big man do his fastball anywhere from 96 to 100 miles an hour.
And a lot of them. Fastballs all around, whether it's the 4-seam, the 2-seam, or the cutter. It's all come out to a 1.35 ERA for Schlittler this year, and an ERA just above 2.2 so far in his major league career. Not supposed to be that easy, is it?
Definitely not.
Carson Bench looks at a strike, and it was a fastball. It likely all will be from Schlittler, throwing about 90% fastballs, whether it's one variation or another. Bench started to turn things around in his rookie year, batting .389 in his last 10 games. Check swing, he fouls it off. It's 1-2.
It's one of the cutting action fastballs. He's thrown 216 of those so far without allowing an extra base hit. So that's the life and the command and the movement of that pitch. A very important pitch, especially the left-handed batters.
1 ball and 2 strikes the count on Carson Bench in the leadoff spot for the Mets tonight. And he swings right through the fastball for strike 3. 99 in the top part of the zone.
Talked about that already. Talking about the fastball at the top of the zone. 99 miles an hour, but also the sinker and the cutting action. Very difficult to square up. An occasional breaking ball to be able to change the hitter's eye level. Very, very good pitch as well.
StatCast powered by Google Cloud and powered by 99 upstairs from Schlittler.
It's a little bit easy when you got that in the back pocket, Wayne.
One out. Here's Bo Bichette playing shortstop again after the injury to Francisco Lindor. And it sounds like it might be kind of a long-term injury for Lindor. What they're hoping is not long-term is how Bichette has hit so far this year. He's only batting .218, just a .270 on base percentage. And he drives this one to right center field. It sends Grisham back over to the warning track near the wall. He's got it just in front of the fence as Bichette gave it a ride, but he's the second out.
The left fielder, number 22,
Well, the Yankee fans still might feel a bit perturbed that Juan Soto went to the other borough. For the Mets fans, this is their man now. Year 2 out of a 15-year contract for Soto, the richest contract in baseball history. It's such a rich contract, you feel like it'd be tough to break.
You know what? This is just a New York hello. I'm used to hearing these New York type of hellos, and they don't boo people that aren't important. Even Juan Soto gets a little smile out of that. This is a great atmosphere.
Mention number 3 batters for the Mets have not given much production. Just a .506 OPS. They would be historically low if it stays that way. But if Soto's in that 3 spot moving forward, it won't stay that way. Well, he has not been quite the same since coming back from the calf injury that briefly put him on the injured list. He did hit a home run in the game yesterday, one of the 5 that New York, the Mets, slugged out against the Tigers yesterday.
We know he's locked in, taking pitches, putting himself in hitter-friendly counts. Very important for Juan Soto to not only show the power production, but also set the table for Vientos and company.
Mets are 3-12 in the games that Soto has missed this year. That's the meaning of valuable. And Soto looks at strike 1 from Schlittler. 48 home runs so far as a Met. Pete Alonso is the all-time Mets leader in homers now. Well, if Soto sticks around 15 years, it'll likely be him by the end of it all. And a big cut there on a 3-1 pitch. This was the blast yesterday against the Tigers.
Allowing that baseball to travel deep and showing that type of power to big man land. You're hunting fastball, but you're reacting to the off speed, elongating that swing, and still strong enough to hit it out of big man land.
Check swing, strike 3. Soto said to have gone around by Dan Iasonia, the third base umpire. And Cam Schlittler has a 1-2-3 first. He strikes out the great Soto to end the inning. Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV is presented by Goodyear. And coincidentally, so is our drone cam, which brings you these shots with the New York City skyline in the back. For Citi Field for the Subway Series. The Mets and the Yankees, their first of 6 matchups this year. There's a delayed strike call to Jazz Chisholm leading off here in the top of the second. 3 games at Citi Field this weekend. They'll play 3 others at Yankee Stadium. They'll be coming up later in the year as Chisholm whiffs on that, and it's 0-2.
4 home runs, 14 runs scored in 24 games at Citi Field in his career, so he's very familiar having success.
Those Yankee Stadium games will be over September 11th this year, the 25th anniversary. The 2 New York teams will be matched up against each other as they were 5 years ago here at Citi Field for the 20th anniversary of 9/11. The count is no balls and 2 strikes on Chisholm, who's had a slow start to this year after a 30-30 year last season. Ground ball up the middle. It backs up Bichette onto the outfield grass. His throw skips past Vientos. Chisholm diving in head first is safe. And the Yankees have their first hit of the game. It's an infield hit for Chisholm.
Yeah, a little bit of top spin caused Bichette to really go deep in the hole and try to spin around and make that throw. Jazz Chisholm hustling out of the box, so this was going to be a bang play. Jazz Chisholm getting dirty. I told you it was going to be postseason next, Wayne. Whatever it takes to get on base and really get their offense going, that's what you're going to do.
And Chisholm also brings a stolen base element. I mentioned the 30-30 year last season. He had 40 steals a couple of years ago. And Holmes has been tough to steal off of, and you figure with Holmes and Torrens, that's going to shut down most running games. Strike one call to Ryan McMahon playing third base.
Especially with Torrens behind the plate, 43% caught stealing rate since 2024. That's the best in all of baseball.
That's the best by a mile at that. It's 1 ball, 1 strike on McMahon, who's hit the ball hard this year. Still does not have a lot to show for it, hitting 196. He hasn't hit much as a Yankee after being traded from Colorado last July. Held his swing, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike on McMahon.
No, Aaron Judge is going to produce. Ben Rice has been phenomenal. Cody Bellinger has been a presence, but the bottom of their lineup really has to show more consistency, especially to hold off and try to win that division.
2 balls and 1 strike on McMahon. And a swing and a miss. As Holmes rides that sinker to the bottom part of the zone, gets so many ground balls with that pitch, throws it a lot. He's developed some other weapons, though, to get left-handed hitters out as a starter.
Very important. I said it in the open about throwing that changeup, tunneling off, and that changeup's anywhere from 86 to 88, but looks just like that sinker at 94 miles an hour, and that's going to be an important pitch, especially try to get the lefties in this Yankee lineup to roll over.
Well, certainly his favorite pitch. He's thrown it 16 times already today. He just misses there with a curve to make it 3-2 on McMahon. Man does strike out a lot, so if the Yankees have any thoughts of running Chisholm here, it'd come with a risk of a strikeout, throw-out, double play. Big lead at first for Chisholm, and Holmes throws over. Time is called. Holmes being told to make sure he maintains eye contact with the batter here in McMahon.
Cat and mouse game between Holmes and Chisholm, trying to avoid that jump. Also got to focus on the batter.
Chisholm with a big lead, not running, swing and a miss, strike 3. So Holmes does get the strikeout. That's why you didn't see Chisholm take off there. Third punch out for Clay Holmes, 1 away.
Seemed like Jazz got a good jump, but excellent sinker, and you see that movement. That movement's almost a foot, especially with that type of velocity. You almost have to look, especially a left-handed batter, to hit the ball to the left side more often.
Holmes, 33 years old, was brought up in the Pirates organization, but ever since leaving there to pitch here in New York, he's been completely different. And there is ball 1 to Spencer Jones, who made his major league debut recently. He's DHing tonight. Holmes had an ERA as a Pirate of 5.57. Since coming to New York with the Yankees and the Mets, his ERA is 2.92. Total transformation since leaving Pittsburgh as Jones fouls one off.
But for me, Wayne, watching him develop even from a reliever to a starter, you can see the other tools, the changeup as well as the breaking ball. When he's in the back end of that bullpen, that sinker was his lifeblood, and because he can throw it on both sides of the plate, he really didn't have to show that breaking ball and really that changeup at all.
A very high ground ball rate as a Yankee in 2022. Was a closer for a couple of those years. Jones is chopping at first. Vientos with the backhand. Look to second, but he'll get the sure out at first with Holmes covering. It seemed like Vientos didn't trust his grip on a play at second base. Instead, he gets the out on Jones. 2 down.
But see, that's the little things that the Mets have to do to continue to play winning baseball. A couple weeks ago, Vientos might try to grip that and try to fire that. Maybe Grisham got in the way of that throwing lane. Maybe he didn't have a good grip, and now you're compounding the problem. Let's just take the out, get 2 outs, and trust our starter and get us back in the dugout. But playing clean baseball, there's a lot of guys in this lineup that are playing out of position, so when you get an out, you have to take it.
So 2 down, Chisholm now at second base, and Anthony Volpe is the batter. Made his season debut the other day, finally back from that shoulder surgery he had in the offseason. He was 0 for 3 on Wednesday against the Orioles, made an error in that game. And he swings and fouls off the first pitch here. It's kind of a different world now that Anthony Volpe has entered. And at the end of last season, he was still the everyday shortstop. Now at the play of Jose Caballero, and Caballero should be back sooner than later. Well, there's no guarantee that Volpe is going to be a starter every day this season. Far from it. No balls and a strike. As Volpe hits a little chopper toward third and foul. It's 0-2.
He hit 221 in AAA and made a couple errors, but it doesn't matter now. He has a chance to re-audition and really win the likes of Aaron Boone and that front office to say, hey, I'm a talented shortstop. This guy's had a success in the big leagues. He's won a Gold Glove. He's done everything, and that is a demanding position in this organization. You have to go out there and play clean, and so he has a chance to redeem himself.
Well, they like what Caballero has done. As Volpe takes ball 1, especially defensively. You know, Volpe's won a Gold Glove, but Caballero has been a good defender at shortstop, in addition to all the elements he brings with his speed on the offensive side. So it'll be interesting to see how Aaron Boone mixes and matches with really 2 shortstops in the mix once Caballero is healthy. It's a foul from Volpe, and it's still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Volpe had his fair share of extra base hits last year. It was just all the hits in between were few and far between, and that average sunk to 212 last season for Anthony Volpe. One ball, 2 strikes. Holmes ahead of him. Breaking ball off the plate makes it 2-2.
Better take, especially from the young man trying to produce and chasing out of the zone pitches he can't handle. And so when you're watching a young man, you want him to reemerge with confidence. And sometimes he doesn't look like he's confident at the plate or at the shortstop position, but good take by Volpe.
Waves and misses at that strike 3. The opposite of a good take that time. 4 strikeouts, 2 in each inning for Clay Holmes, and it's still 0-0.
Cam Schlittler leads the American League in ERA through his first 9 starts this season. He also leads the odds. I asked Aaron Boone if he expected this from Schlittler. He said he caught his attention in spring training 2025. Schlittler wasn't in big league camp, but he came up for a spot start against a good big league team late in spring and dominated. But it was also his demeanor on the mound that struck him, Wayne.
Mark Vientos, the first man here in the second, pops up the first pitch from Schlittler. Rice is over near the Yankee dugout, or the Mets dugout rather, and he juggles it, and he could not make the catch. It looked like Rice had a real shot right over the top of the Mets dugout on the first base side. And as that ball went in and out of his glove, Rice left frustrated that he couldn't grab it.
Yeah, he gave a couple glances to see how much room he had and fumbles it and catches it all in the palm and bounces out the last minute. And I think he was trying to anticipate really that guard railing hitting him in the ribs. Looks like me when I'm messing with the hot pockets out there.
There's a line drive left center field. Grisham going back for a long run as he reaches to make the catch. Vientos gave that one a pretty good ride. Hit his first home run here at Citi Field since last August in the game yesterday, and made Grisham have to chase that one, but Grisham up to the task.
Yeah, that's an intriguing matchup because Vientos likes to hunt the fastball, and obviously Clem Schlittler likes to throw that fastball. Excellent jump by Grisham. Man, he makes those plays so smooth. Excellent route runner.
Grisham, a 2-time Gold Glove winner. He is really an excellent outfielder. With 1 out, MJ Melendez bats. He's the designated hitter for the Mets. He takes ball one from Schlittler. The Yankees say that Schlittler is really a development success story. They say that he has touched every part of this organization in terms of how he has come along over the last handful of years. Drafted in 2022 out of Northeastern University. He's a Boston guy. Count in there, 1 ball 1 strike after that one gets in at the bottom of the zone to Melendez. But he was only averaging about 89 miles an hour with his fastball when he was at Tampa in A-ball. And now he's averaging 97. 8-mile-an-hour surge in velocity since those days in the minor leagues. Swing and a miss by Melendez, and it's 1-2. They gave Schlittler a target weight. They said you need to weigh about 221 pounds. That's where we want you to really fulfill what you can do, grow into your body, and have your mechanics kind of match what your body strength is. And he did it. It took him 2.5 years to get to 221, but he did it. Now he's about 225 as he rears back to strike out Melendez. Third strikeout for Schlittler, 2 down.
That's just a little more Dunkin' Donuts, especially even in the Northeast. But, you know, his arm strength, the arm development, how to eat right, the small muscles, everything you learn to develop a professional athlete. He took the heave, and I hear he's a great young man and loves to work hard and has mound presence and believes in his stuff. He believed in it when he was throwing 89. You're going to believe in it when you're throwing 99.
Yeah, it's a good reason to believe in it now. 2 outs. Here's Brett Beatty as he takes ball one. One of the great rookie postseason pitching performances of all time by Schlittler last year. Although Trey Yesavage also had a great one in the postseason for the Blue Jays last year as well. Beatty could not hold his swing. 1 ball 1 strike. And there have been more instances, it seems like, in the last 5 years or so, where rookies come up, whether they're pitchers or position players, and they fit right in and they get to the top of their craft a lot sooner than it seemed like how it used to happen.
Give a good eye to the scouts and really development, and really the mental aspect of the game to say, hey, young man, you need to be a factor in this game.
Well, I think some of it is technological. That's what Schlittler says, is that, you know, hooking him up to all these things and tracking every single thing that he did. And
movement preps, everything, very important.
It made Schlittler get better to a point where maybe he wouldn't have been able to do that a decade or more ago. And then he gets to the big leagues and he's ready. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Beatty, and he's been nothing short of dominant as a major league pitcher. 2.28 his ERA in 23 starts. It's even lower than that if you count his 2 postseason starts last year, including that gem he spun against the Red Sox in the wild card. 2 balls 2 strikes on Beatty, and a foul at home plate keeps it 2-2.
Another thing I like about him, even though he's a bigger guy, the windup is repeatable. It's controlled. It's under his pace, and so that's also part of the development to get the maximize the throw.
Brett Beatty has settled in at third base, his natural position, with Lindor out and Bichette moving to shortstop. He fouls one away, and it's still 2-2. Beatty had a really good second half last year for the Mets. Has not quite carried it over to this year just yet, batting only .220. Fastball higher than high for Schlittler to make it 3-2. Beatty has turned it up lately. Second half, he had .290 last year. This will be the 8th pitch of this at bat. Beatty stays in there. Schlittler not used to having long at bats against him. He has not even averaged 15 pitches per inning this year. So rare to see an at bat get up into this 8, 9, 10 pitch territory.
He's staying on that fastball, whether it be a cutting action or a sinker, but he's just hunting the velocity thus far.
Lines this one to shallow right, coming in for a Judge. It's a base hit. The Mets have their first of the game, and it's Brett Beatty with 2 outs here in the second.
Excellent job by Beatty, never coming off that pitch. He said, hey, I don't believe he's going to throw that changeup or that breaking ball, so I'm going to stay on that cutting action fastball. Does an excellent job pulling the hands through. That's the only way you're able to get to that barrel. Rather than the label and strong enough to get a base hit.
Here is Marcus Semien batting in the number 7 spot, the veteran Gold Glove winning second baseman. As he fouls one off, 0-1. Semien's played every game so far as a Met, and that's no surprise. Semien has been remarkably durable in his career. Last year he missed some time. It was the first time since 2017 he played fewer than 159 games in a season. Pops this one up toward the right field line. Aaron Judge with a long run. Chisholm as well. Judge over near the screen as it lands off the screen in foul territory.
Yeah, that's one area at this ballpark where you're running out of real estate quickly. It looks like it's about 2 paces off the line.
And once you get past that sidewall down there or indents, there is almost no foul territory down the left and right field sides here. No balls and 2 strikes to count on Semien. Runner going as Semien chops one foul.
Excellent jump by Beatty. Tough count to steal on because Semien has to protect. Got a walking lead. Excellent jump, but almost throwing that bat ahead out as the cutting action fastball tailing away.
Beatty does have 2 steals on the year. It's still 0-2 on Semien. And a check swing and a pitch up and in. He went around, strike 3. Schlittler ties up Semien, has his 4th strikeout. Still scoreless after 2.
He makes a catch. Ball game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
The iconic catchphrase of the late John Sterling, who passed away earlier this season. Austin Wells leads off here in the 3rd. Weird to be here for the Subway Series without John Sterling, who had a memorial service this afternoon. What an all-time great voice, one of the great characters in a baseball broadcast booth that's ever lived. We saw Susan Waldman here earlier on the Yankees radio side. John and Susan, the legendary combination, calling so many Yankee games together, and it's just odd to be here with the Mets and Yankees playing and not have John here.
The voice, I mean the cadence, the pulse of the team. All those great calls. I mean, there will never be another John Sterling ever again.
And there's Susan working with Dave Sims on Yankee radio. She knows she's smiling for the camera. She always knows with the camera.
Lovely.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Austin Wells. Almost feel like a patriarch and matriarch of Yankee baseball, John and Susan. John is certainly missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Austin Wells. Working on Mets radio all the years with Howie Rose and Chris Majkowski, the Mets producer. Madge used to like kind of guessing what show tune John would reference for a new Yankees home run. You know, whenever the Yankees would get a new player, Madge would kind of bring out the notebook. Here's a drive center field off the bat of Wells. It's Ewing back out near the wall, and he makes the catch as Wells flies out to deep center. But he kind of write a few show tunes down and try to get on John's level, try to match him after John's 36 seasons as the radio play-by-play announcer for the Yankees, called all those consecutive games, and just an out-and-out icon in the Yankee lore.
Infectious smile, the storytelling, not only just about the Yankees, but the game of baseball. And those 12 sports Emmys, I think that's a little light. I mean, he can at least have 15 to 20 because of his impact, and not only in Yankee lore, but in baseball.
Here's Trent Grisham taking ball one from Clay Holmes. And with these two starting pitchers tonight, I don't know if anyone's going to hit one high, far, or gone here with Schlittler against Holmes, both at the top of their game right now.
Like we talked about in the open, you're seeing the fastball command and the life and the movement from both starters, but also now you're going to see Holmes be able to start to mix in that changeup and that breaking ball.
Remember the backstop from Holmes. And the count 3 balls and no strikes. Mentioned Holmes has gone at least 5 innings in all 8 of his starts, giving up 2 runs or fewer in all of them. Threw a few more pitches than normal against the Diamondbacks his last time, over 100 for the first time this year. That's right in there to get back to the count on Grisham. It's 3-1.
I think both these lineups right now need to start trying to think and look to the opposite field. Both these starters have done a good job of staying away from the team's power.
Fly ball to left. That moves Soto over, jogging toward the line. He makes the catch for out number 2. Now the Ricola weather report. That's all you. You said you wanted to be the weatherman. Have at it.
Ricola. Nice little cloudy New York night. Not too windy anymore. A little windy. 63 degrees. It's a perfect little dinner coat night, Wayne. We can go right to dinner after the game, baby.
Sounds good to me.
You buying, though?
What? There's a strike to Ben Rice, who struck out his first time. It'll be the 80s here this weekend, but it's a perfect little spring night for baseball in New York today. 1 ball, 1 strike on Rice. Rice, one of the 4 strikeout victims for Holmes. Rice only 3 hits in his last 25 at bats. Missed a few games because of a hand injury. Aaron Boone says it's not affecting him now. 2 balls and a strike to count. And it's been a remarkable start for Rice. And again, there's nothing really cheap about it. He has just crushed everything that he has hit in the first several weeks of this season. It's a strike that Rice wants to challenge. And there was a challenge lost by the Yankees in the first inning with Grisham. Now Rice challenging with ABS powered by T-Mobile, and that's a strike. So the Yankees are swiftly out of challenges tonight.
Wow. He gave a glance to Torrens and know what I'm doing back here, young man. It's a tough one.
No question about that with Torrens behind the plate. Rice has some catching experience himself as he takes ball 3.
I forgot the keys on the table. Look.
Aaron Boone saying, I told him not to forget the keys. There's a line drive base hit, but Ben Rice continues to strike the baseball. 105.8 off his bat for a 2-out single.
He's been doing that all season long. You make a mistake, especially to the pull side, he can do that.
You might be able to guess, Judge is up. Temperature goes up a few degrees.
That's the definition of all rise, huh, Wayne?
It certainly is. And Judge goes the other way for a base hit. Rice around second base has to hurry back as the throw from Benj comes in behind him, but it's back-to-back singles for Rice and Judge, and the Yankees have 2 on with 2 out.
I love that shot right there because that's the banter between the Mets and the Yankee fans, but this is a sinker, middle, and that's right in his wheelhouse. Rice giving a little check to try to challenge that throw from Benj, but Benj has an excellent throwing arm.
Brings up Cody Bellinger, who's been a good RBI man to start the year. It's a strike At the top edge of the zone. Bellinger 29 runs batted in, hitting .350 with runners in scoring position. The thing about Bellinger, though, so far this year, he has not hit well away from Yankee Stadium. It's the highest gap in OPS between home and road in the majors this year. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1259 is his home OPS, 516 on the road.
A lot like for Rice, that Yankee Stadium is made for those lefty power guys, and he seems to feast more at home.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Bellinger. His numbers, though, earlier against the Mets, drove in 10 runs last year and 7 extra base hits against the Mets, the most by a Yankee in the Subway Series since its origin in 1997. One ball, 2 strikes, back-to-back hits, giving the Yankees a 2-out threat. Bellinger stays alive, fouling one off his foot.
Tough pitch to stay on, being able to cover that slider down and in. Holmes trying to get him to swing over the top of that. 1-2 count. He has options. All he has to do is to stay out of the middle of the plate with that sinker, but the slider's an option and a change of falling away. Cody Bellinger as well.
Sun setting over this spectacular city and Subway Series underway. First of 6 matchups for the Mets and Yankees this year. They were 3-3 against each other last year. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bellinger reaches out and taps one to right. That's a base hit. Ben Rice heads home. Judge goes to third. The Yankees are on the board first, and it's Cody Bellinger with a 2-out RBI double.
When they have success, this is the 3 guys that does it. Excellent pitch by Holmes. Better piece of hitting by Belly. Elongating that swing, recognizing mid-flight that pitch is down and not over-swinging. Just trying to barrel it and put it in play. Being athletic and really making adjustments pitch by pitch. He swung over the top of that breaking ball the first time, slowed down his swing, and got another RBI.
Now the big Yankee bats coming through with 2 outs. Ben Rice started the rally singling. Aaron Judge did the same, and now Bellinger shooting a double down the right field side to bring home Rice. And the Yankees up 1-0 here. And the way Cam Schlittler has looked early on and the way he's looked most of this season, you wonder if 1 run might be enough, but certainly from the Mets standpoint, they don't want to give up these other 2, as the Yankees now have 2 in scoring position.
Could be a situation that this could feel like the game right here, right now, to be able to stay focused. Let's go over the scouting report. He's had a couple long at bats. Give him a breather and say, hey, focus and get us back in the dugout so we can do some damage.
Cody Bellinger with 2 outs and 2 strikes brings home the first run of the game. And now it's Jazz Chisholm who had a base hit his first time, as the Yankees take a 1-0 lead here in the 3rd. Ball 1 to Chisholm. Well, the Mets are coming off a sweep of the Tigers. Detroit scored first in all 3 of those games. The Yankees threatening for more here with 2 outs. And Chisholm hits it hard past Vientos into right field. 2 more runs come home. Judge and Bellinger score. Throw to second. It's a double for Chisholm.
You see the athleticism wane and really the excitement. Another sinker, middle. Jazz is all over that pitch. And he's thinking 2 right out of the box.
It's the 8th double for Jazz. He has 16 RBIs. Clay Holmes has allowed 3 runs in a game for the first time this year. And it's come here in successive order as Chisholm steals third.
See, this is what you want to see if you're a Yankees fan. This is the Jazz Chisholm that you want to see as far as the aggression playing his style of baseball and having fun out there and causing havoc.
2-run double. Now he's at third after the stolen base. A grounder foul off the bat of McMahon. For Jazz, that's his 12th steal this year. The first one allowed by Holmes. This all was happening after the first 2 men were retired in this inning. 3 runs on 4 hits on 4 straight batters. And Ryan McMahon strikes out to end the inning, but it turns into a big 2-out rally for the Yanks. Ben Rice singled, Cody Bellinger with an RBI double, and Jazz Chisholm brings home 2 as the Yankees take a 3-0 lead at Citi Field. Cloud as Cam Schlittler has 6 outs, all with fastballs of some sort, as you'd expect. 3 with that cutter. He has 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings.
Yeah, to me, that cutter is his best pitch. Has the life and the movement at the top of the zone. Very difficult pitch to barrel up, whether you be left-handed or right-handed. Doesn't matter.
Well, A.J. Ewing is a left-handed batter, and he's at the very beginning of his major league career. His first series against the Tigers went very well. Punches one foul. Ewing had his first major league hit, a triple, in his big league debut against the Tigers, and yesterday hit his first major league home run. 21-year-old has brought a lot of poise along with him. It was in spring training that Ewing made a pretty big impression on some of the Mets veterans, including Bo Bichette, who wasn't really familiar with Ewing and was asking Carlos Mendoza, who is this guy? Is he going to be on the team?
Yeah. That speaks volumes, being able to be that impactful. Also, Carlos Mendoza really talked about this. You know, he looked like his presence was a 10-year big leaguer, and so hitting .336 between AA and AAA before being called up. This could be the future.
Just a dozen games at AAA. Well, Carson Benj didn't have many more than that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You saw Michael Conforto skip AAA on his way to the major leagues back in 2015, when the Mets kind of needed a jolt back then. In the summer of 2015, Conforto came up. Yoenis Cespedes was traded for. The Mets were finally able to take off and make it all the way to the World Series that year. Here's Ewing with a fly ball to left center field. Grisham moves over along with Bellinger, and it's the left fielder Bellinger for the out, 1 away. Statcast powered by Google Cloud. The home run for Ewing is first in the major leagues.
You see that sweet swing? That's a short swing, easy through the baseball. He will have some power, especially middle in, but with the plate recognition and discipline, I can see this young man hitting 20 to 25 home runs for the Metropolitans.
They know he's going to spray the ball around and find his way on base. He's a good base stealer too. So it'll be interesting to see A.J. Ewing blossom here over the next few weeks. Ball 1 to Luis Torrens, batting in the number 9 spot. The Mets radio booth tweeted about Ewing's triple in his major league debut, being the first 3 by Ewing in New York since 1997.
Stop it. Respect my man over there. Respect Patrick. That's my guy over there. You respect him.
Well, I guess it was 3 and 1 when he got all 4 yesterday.
Big man. Don't do that.
1 ball, 1 strike on Luis Torrens. Man, the Knicks got a real chance to win the whole thing this year.
And listen, you see how they bounce around here when they win a series. They win it all. Watch out.
They are in the Eastern Conference Final, waiting for the Cavs and Pistons to have a result. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Luis Torrens. Look at the bulk of the playing time behind the plate for the Mets, with Francisco Alvarez suffering a knee injury. Needed surgery on his meniscus. It's usually a 2-month process at least.
Yeah. Couple key guys in that Mets lineup down for a significant amount of time, and so That's why you're seeing some of the young stars clock speed up and try to be impactful. But I love what Carlos Mendoza talked about. He said next man up, and talked about this experience of learning how to manage and deal with adversity from Aaron Boone.
Still 1 ball, 2 strikes on Torrens. Mets injuries have been plentiful. Although guys with injury pasts on that list, Lindor almost never misses time, but he's out. Jorge Polanco, Luis Robert, a couple of free agent, or in Robert's case, a trade acquisition. A couple of veterans brought in that aren't available right now. Two balls, 2 strikes on Torrens. Hit sharply up the middle. Might have kicked off of Schlittler. Backhand by Volpe, and his throw in time. That hit the foot of Schlittler and redirected out to Volpe. He made a nice play off the carom.
Hopefully, tricky area, especially you don't want to hit it above the foot. It sounds like it caught the foot, but great focus by Volpe to be able to make that backhand play and throw.
Schlittler got hit in the leg by a comebacker in his last start, which was against the Brewers. He still put up 6 scoreless innings in that game.
See, that's old school Volpe right there.
This was that play off the bat of William Contreras, kind of similar, except this one hit him a little higher up on that leg.
And I think once that play happened, that was the fear of Aaron Boone. That's why he sprinted right out of there. Check up on the big man.
Schlittler was okay then, seems okay now. 2 up, 2 down here in the 3rd inning as the rookie Carson Benj will stand in. Schlittler's still kind of trying to feel that out. I don't know that he's totally comfortable just yet. Benj has looked more comfortable as a big leaguer of late. Takes ball 1 from Schlittler. Benj hit his first major league homer on opening day. Second Met to ever hit an opening day home run in his major league debut. Kaz Matsui did it in 2004.
That man has elite sprint speed. Like I talked about it earlier, excellent throwing arm as well. A little bit early. Rookie swag with the chains.
I thought you'd like that.
I like that. You gotta be yourself out there, especially in the Big Apple. Listening. I can smell a man with money.
Well, it must be draft money because he hasn't made any really as a major leaguer yet. He was a first-round pick out of Oklahoma State. 3 balls and a strike to count on Benj. Yankees scored 3 with 2 outs in the top of this inning. 2 out, nobody on here in the bottom half. As Carson Benj looks at strike 2. Guys getting tied up on fastballs right down the middle.
Yeah, it's a tough situation because you feel like your run doesn't matter, but you work a 3-1 count against the ace. You want to look middle in and try to drive that baseball.
Full count pitch, and Benj fouls off another. There have been a lot of foul balls here in the last couple of innings against Schlittler.
And that movement late, right when it gets to the hitting zone, not only the velo, but the cutting action or the sinking action you have to pick. Every once in a while, that 4-seamer stays true through the strike zone.
So the count 3-2. Benj struck out his first time up. Smacks this one in the air to left. Bellinger racing back for it. Over near the wall, reaches up, and he makes the catch on the warning track to take an extra base hit away from Benj. Play by Bellinger going back on this one. Turns into a 1-2-3 inning for Cam Schlittler thanks to the back-footed leap of Bellinger.
It's time for a Sage manager interview here with Carlos Mendoza. Clay Holmes, second time through the order. They had some pretty good swings off him. What'd you see there?
Yeah, you're exactly right. You know, the first time through the order, the sinker, getting ground balls, the way he's mixing pitches. But the second time through, started with Rice, putting together a really good at-bat, followed by Georgie. And then you got to give credit to Bellinger, because I thought Clay executed that breaking ball, and he just went down there and got it. Just got to keep going here.
You were the bench coach for Aaron Boone. What's the biggest thing you learned from him?
Staying consistent, caring about people, the personalities, and just stay true to yourself.
All right, thanks, Carlos.
You got it.
Carlos Mendoza said that all really came in handy for him a couple of weeks ago when the Mets were at the height of their losing streak, and there were a lot of calls that Carlos Mendoza might be losing his job. You know, look around the league, and Alex Cora did lose his job as the manager of the Red Sox. Rob Thompson did as the manager of the Phillies. So with the Mets in a similar situation as those two teams, there was some thought that Carlos Mendoza might be next. That hasn't happened. David Stern says it likely won't, as Jones hits one off of Holmes, and he'll have an infield hit. So a couple of line drives off of pitchers here, and Spencer Jones has his second major league hit.
Ooh. You want to talk about exit velo? That ball was hit extremely hard, and so second inning in a row that the manager had to check on the starter, because you're hoping that it caught more glove. It did not.
It caught any glove. 111 miles an hour. This was a rocket. Top of the foot. Holmes trying to get some feeling back in that foot as Jones is on. Back to Carlos Mendoza. He said, you know, there was a lot of times when he was with the Yankees and on Aaron Boone's staff where there were similar calls for Aaron Boone's job, and he said the way that Aaron Boone carried himself during those moments is how he tried to carry himself while the Mets were having a tough time.
When you have reverse times in a locker room, you have to look to the coaching staff and the manager. And if he's all over the place emotionally, more often than not, you're going to have dysfunction in that locker room. And that's one thing that's Aaron Boone's strength. He's always going to back his players. He's always going to keep it cool and collective and really keep those conversations individual and small when you have a level of expectation and players aren't playing up to that. And so they were super close, and I believe that's a strength, because there's ebb and flows in baseball. Baseball's such a long season. You're going to have some losing streaks. You're going to have some injuries. But if you're consistent every day, more often than not, your captains, your leaders will set that same tone.
Holmes is good to go here after Jones singles off his foot, and now it's Volpe who was struck out his first time.
Oh, no. Johnny!
Volpe did not go around. 1 ball, no strikes. Carlos Mendoza said a lot of it is just protecting the players, but also making sure the players aren't worried about him either. He said, don't worry about my job. Just go out and do yours. 2 balls and no strikes. Mendoza has spent almost 2 decades in the Yankees organization. And the last several of those years coming on Aaron Boone's staff, including being the bench coach for the Yankees. 3 balls and no strikes on Volpe. Infield hit by the 6'7" Spencer Jones, as he's at first base, and now he'll be at second base after Volpe draws a walk. What are those moments like right after you get hit by a comeback, especially one that had some steam on it?
Especially the lower half. If you're still feeling some pain right now, you're not landing the same way. You're not driving the same way, and so all of a sudden the arm angle changes. You're not comfortable, and especially for 2 starters that are big, the lower half consistency is key for them to be able to go downhill and keep their arm in the same slot with those strikes.
First 2 Yankees are on in this 4th inning as Austin Wells takes ball 1. And 6 of the last 7 Yankees that have reached safely since there were 2 out, nobody on in the 3rd. 4 straight hits brought in 3 runs. Now 2 on, nobody out to start this inning. It's 2-0 on Wells.
6 straight balls since he's been hit, and so now he's starting to search for the strike zone. And Yankee hitters are doing a good job of putting hitter-friendly counts.
It's already a 3-0 hole, pretty sizable when you're thinking about facing Schlittler. Any more than that, and it becomes a real tall task here for the Mets, even though it's still early in this game.
Wells is going to be selling out, hoping that it's a sinker middle.
It's 2-1 now on Wells. And it was. He didn't swing. 2-2.
I'm swinging at that. I'm swinging at that. Especially down middle. Yankee hitters have had a lot of success in that area thus far against Holmes.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Holmes comes back from that 2-0 deficit to strike out Wells. And a big first out in this inning.
That's why you swing at that ball pitch before, because all of a sudden you get a little confidence as a starter, and now you're seeing 6 straight fastballs. Excellent breaking ball down. Wells does not see the spin.
Brings up Trent Grisham, who is 0 for 2, struck out in the first inning. Swings and misses here on the sinker from Holmes. And after the 4-pitch walk to Volpe in the first 2 out of the zone against Wells, Holmes has gotten back in the strike zone. The Mets have their bullpen up, and it's Austin Warren throwing.
Hung out.
Even in the best case scenario for Holmes' foot, well, he's thrown 80 pitches already in this game.
Yeah, it's been taxing, especially the Yankee hitters have done a good job of really just working the count.
The inside corner with breaking ball from Holmes, and it's 1-2 now on Grisham.
Haven't really seen the feel of the changeup and really the landing of the breaking ball besides the first inning from Holmes.
Jones at second base, Volpe at first. Just missed, and actually Torrens thinks it did not miss. That's challenge powered by T-Mobile, and that's going to be a strike at the top of the zone. So it's strike 3 to Grisham. That's the same pitch that struck him out in the first inning that he lost a challenge on.
Torrens is excellent back there. We talked about the throwing metrics, but being able to have strike zone awareness, and as the ABS goes along, you're going to see that that's going to be a real weapon for catchers that are excellent at that.
2 down, and the batter will be Rice. Howie Rose, the legendary Mets radio announcer, who really serves as a Mets historian too, says that Torrens is probably the best backup catcher the Mets have ever had. The Mets are paying him like a starter, really, with the 2-year extension they just gave him. As Rice takes ball 1 from Clay Holmes.
I mean, the game calling, the pitch receiving, very important to have depth in that position.
There's Howie.
Legend.
A good number of years sitting next to that man on Mets radio. 1 ball, 1 strike. Howie's retiring at the end of the year. Here's a ground ball to third, is smothered by a slide with Beatty firing it too late to first. Ben Rice legs out an infield hit, put it in a tough spot down the third base line. And now the Yankees have them loaded with Aaron Judge coming up.
Excellent backhand by Beatty, but Ben Rice hustling out of the box. That swing caused the momentum to be in down first base, and now you're up against it with nowhere to put Aaron Judge.
Judge had a base hit and a run scored his last time, reached on catcher's interference in the first, and he hits a pop-up to right center field. This will get Holmes out of the inning. Carson Bench is there, and Judge flies out with the bases loaded. The Yankees don't score. They still lead by 3.
Here with Aaron Boone, Cam Schlittler got hit with the comebacker again, 2 starts in a row, but he's given up just the 1 hit. What are you seeing from him?
3 starts in a row he's got hit. Fortunately, this one got a lot of his shoe, but good. You know, they put a couple tough at bats on him to, you know, make him throw some pitches in some certain situations. But overall, feel like his stuff's real good, and he's for the most part executing.
Jazz lost an ABS challenge, Ben Rice in the 3rd. How frustrating as a manager to lose both your challenges by the 3rd inning?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the second one we got, you know, a 2-1 count there. Probably got to be a little more certain, but there's going to be games like that. It's going to happen. We don't want our guys to shy away from challenging. So, you know, we'll play baseball now.
All right, thanks, Aaron.
Yeah.
Well,
That hat almost came right off the top of his head.
big gulps, huh? All righty.
The Yankees lost their challenges right away here tonight. Fly ball to center from Bichette. It's Grisham moving over toward right center to make the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 4th inning. Pitching decisions presented by Sage. Cam Schlittler keeps right on going. He struck out Juan Soto earlier.
Yeah, he's trying to attack him with that fastball up, but battles all the way back 98 middle in, challenges him 98 again, and then that tailing action at 96 gets Juan Soto to chase. You don't see that too often out of the zone.
Soto hitting just .267 to start the year. Kind of a slow start last year as well, but he took off at some point. And ended up 3rd in the National League MVP voting. He led the National League in stolen bases last year too. He hasn't run as much so far this year, dealing with some of that calf injury. Fouled a ball off his ankle the other day. The ball's in a strike on Soto, batting with 1 out here in the 4th. That's a called strike, and it's 0-2.
Little interaction between the 2 legends already. How you feeling? You missed me yet? Love to see that banter. 2 superstars going toe to toe.
Guessing Judge does miss Soto, and Soto might be missing Judge even more. There's not much protection in this lineup for Soto right now. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Soto 43 home runs last year, a career high. Had Pete Alonso hitting behind him last season. Well, Alonso's in Baltimore now, and this lineup trying to fill in behind Soto, who strikes out with a high fastball. And I hope he's okay after he kind of twisted around at the end of that swing. Soto clutching at his lower back after he twisted almost all the way around following this swing and miss.
Definitely something to watch for. I don't know if it's the hand or the back, but not good.
There's a little bouncer off the bat of Vientos. Schlittler trying to field it. Off balance throw, and what a play! Cam Schlittler slow to get up, but seems to be okay after retiring Mark Vientos with a circus play to win the inning. Down and making that throw perfectly to retire Vientos.
Excellent play. All his momentum's going to the 3rd base side. The only play he had was the barehanded. A little bit of down goes Frazier at the end from the big man, but PFP is very important. He falls to the 1st base side, has to redirect himself, and nice little sidearm throw across the diamond.
He started falling down. It felt like he had no chance to make that throw as accurately as he did.
Pitchers are athletes too. Can see that's a tough play, and you know usually the infielders will tell you to eat it, as far as like don't try to make that throw and compound the problem, but at the same time you don't want him to be in the front of a position to fall and hurt himself.
Well, the good news for the Mets here is that Juan Soto did take his position in left field to start this 5th inning after he got twisted around on a swing and a miss during his at bat in the 4th inning. And Soto jogged back out and seems okay. We'll see if there's any residue after that awkward swing when he takes his next at bat. It's Cody Bellinger leading off here in the 5th. Clay Holmes still out there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the Mets bullpen is active with a high pitch count here for Holmes. He's allowed 3 runs in a game for the first time this year. Swing and a miss by Bellinger. Strike 3. This is Soto's swing to end his at bat in the 4th inning.
Trying to get on top of that cutter. Overextended himself. It felt like. What concerned us is that walk away and that little grimace of looking at his hand and really his back, and he can't have any more losses to this ball club. All the injuries we talked about early in the ball game, he has to be able to continue to be that presence in the 3-hole.
Meanwhile, Clay Holmes has a new season high in strikeouts. He has fanned 8 tonight. As Bellinger is down on strikes to start this inning. It's been a good night so far for Jazz Chisholm, with a base hit in the 2nd inning and a 2-run double in the 3rd.
Seeing the athleticism from Jazz Chisholm, the speed and really the power, and he's right. You elongate that lineup. Somebody at the bottom of that lineup really has to emerge, and I feel like he can be the individual to do that.
2 balls and 1 strike the count. That's ball 3. Well, Chisholm certainly has the track record to do so. Very good season last year for the Yankees. And his 2nd All-Star team was a Silver Slugger winner. I feel like Chisholm will get there eventually this year. And a good night so far in this one as he takes ball 4 on base for the 3rd time today. Adobe standout scores, the back-to-back doubles giving the Yankees the lead in the 3rd.
Yeah, Belly being able to elongate that swing, shorten the swing, and then Jazz Chisholm, runners in scoring position, showing the power. Aaron Boone talked about it. He says runners in scoring position, we have not been great over the last week. That's why we struggled offensively. But if you get contributions from guys like Chisholm, Grisham, really step up. Watch out.
That's it for Clay Holmes, his shortest outing of the season. First time he doesn't make it through 5 as he gets lifted here in the 5th. Are on the air. A city block. Well, it's supposed to be a city block. I don't know if that's a whole city block, but it's a big screen showing Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV right in the middle of Times Square tonight. The Mets and the Yankees on the center screen underneath the Marriott marquee. They came to see you, I think.
Mama, I made it.
That's it. Can't make it any bigger than that. Get the Times Square billboard, and you're doing all right in life.
I'm in the booth with you, Weezy. It's all good in my world. Can't complain.
It's all good in Austin Warren's world, too. He's been very good as a member of the Mets since joining them last year. He's in relief of Clay Holmes and throws this one off the back of Chisholm. Chisholm in too much pain to even get up and do anything about it, as he stays planted at first base.
Might have been the only thing that saved him from him advancing. The second shock of being squared up in the back. Once again, Aaron Boone has to run out there and make a little lap, and right between the shoulder blades, Wayne.
And right in the number 3 on his back. The ball got away from Vientos all the way toward the camera well, but Chisholm couldn't move after that errant throw by Warren. Ground ball to first. Vientos on the back, fires it to second. Chisholm safe. Needed to be a tag play after Vientos got the out at first. So Chisholm is able to advance 2 down in the inning.
Vientos has to make that play to his left. The bag's right there. Very difficult throw to be able to have that throw-in lane. Jazz Chisholm looked back to see where Vientos was going. Gets down there in time.
Now a 2-out Spencer Jones is the batter, and a base hit off the foot of Holmes earlier. Takes a healthy swing, that's for sure. Jones 6'7". He has struck out a lot as a minor leaguer, but when he does make contact, the ball's certainly going to fly. The Yankees, the first team in Major League history to have 2 position players standing 6'7" or taller. There's the other one.
Yeah, they might have to change that airplane for bigger seats.
Need the NBA plane.
Yeah, right. Everybody get lay down seats for that one.
1 ball, 1 strike on Jones. From Southern California, was drafted by the Angels out of high school. Then he went to Vanderbilt, became a first-round pick for the Yankees. Chisholm has to get back to second base. Jones has surprisingly stolen a lot of bases in the minor leagues. He had 35 homers last year, but he also had 29 steals.
Big man, but shows a lot of athleticism.
He drives this one to right center field. That's a base hit. Chisholm hits for the plate. Spencer Jones has his second big league RBI. 2 hits today, and the Yankees take a 4-0 lead.
Could be scary hours, Wayne, when this young man Spencer Jones really starts to hit the ball with some type of confidence. Pitch recognition is there, and Aaron Boone says he had a tough draw facing Mizrachi the first time out, but gets a slider middle. Squares it up, and with 2 outs, Jazz is running on contact. Another RBI with 2 outs.
All 4 Yankee runs have scored with 2 outs. Spencer Jones has 2 hits now in this game. And it's been all Yankees here tonight in the start of the Subway Series. 4 runs, 8 hits. The Mets have only managed 1 hit, no runs against Schlittler. And it's 2-0 now on Volpe. Clay Holmes has his book closed with 4 runs allowed in 4 1/3 innings. He did have 8 strikeouts, a new season high. His ERA climbs above 2. It was 1.86 going in. He had both starters with sub-2 ERAs. And now Holmes at 2.39 with 4 runs surrendered tonight. Strike, and it's 3-1 on Volpe. Walked his last time, also a strikeout tonight.
He's going to look to be very aggressive, especially middle end.
Ball 4. Take inside. That's the second walk of the inning. Volpe on with a free pass for the second time tonight. Score big on Authentic Gear. MLBshop.com. Official jerseys and memorabilia, hats and hoodies. We've got the season coverage. Scan the QR code or visit MLBshop.com, the official source for your favorite team gear. Carlos Beltran headed to the Hall of Fame as a Met this year. There's Soto in both Yankee and Met colors. Of course, Darryl Strawberry did it on both sides of town as well, who had been the previous Mets all-time leader in homers until Pete Alonso surpassed him last year. There's a little roller along the first base line that is picked up in foul ground by Torrens.
So many great players playing for both these historic organizations and really factoring for these organizations, but Shaw, one of the great legends in baseball.
All the retired numbers, including Strawberry's number 18, 24 for Willie Mays.
16.
And that's Dr. K.
There's guy.
41 for the franchise. Gil Hodges, number 14. And Casey Stengel, who was the original Mets manager, certainly had his hand on some of the Yankees' glory days of years past. Number 37 among the retired numbers here for the Mets. They've retired a whole bunch in the last handful of years. Keith Hernandez got his number 17 retired as well.
Number 5 for my guy David Wright. I'm shocked I wasn't in his speech. It's one of the many doubles and home runs he's hit off me at Old Shea Stadium. I slided.
I hope you took that up with him on the golf course.
I got his money in my pocket.
1 ball, 1 strike on Austin Wells. Breaking ball lands from Warren. It's 1-2. My guy Dave Freed just gave me David Wright's batting average against.
It's very high. Very high. Very high. But I got him in my book too. Let me see that. Let me see that number again. I'm not ashamed. That's a big frat.
Starts with a 3.
Ooh, 359. That's why I always have him pay for dinner. That's why I always have him pay. Get that filet butterfly. Your boy Train. Thank you.
2-2. As Wells goes down looking to end the inning. Another 2-out run for the Yankees. The big man Spencer Jones drives it in. It's 4-0 Yanks.
Make it 2. His major league leading 20th home run of the season as the Phillies trail the Pirates 5-8.
At 20 homers already. Darryl Strawberry would be impressed with that. There's Straw, who's kind of staying neutral tonight, even though his 18 is retired here. He's wearing a Knicks hat, not picking a side baseball-wise.
Smart man. Yeah, but he's a legend anywhere he goes. I still remember the video that he hit that ball at Old Shea, that monster scoreboard 3 ways up. The bat speed, the swagger, one of the best to ever do it.
Well, the Mets will celebrate 40th anniversary of their last championship year this summer in 1986. And Darryl Strawberry was the centerpiece of that lineup. A big home run in Game 7 of the '86 World Series. And about a decade later was on a World Series team for the Yankees as well. There's a great video of the Yankees playing a home game here at Shea Stadium when they had some structural damage at Yankee Stadium, so they moved part of their series against the Angels here to Shea. Darryl had already been the all-time home run leader in Mets history and in Shea Stadium history. So in a home game here at Shea Stadium, Darryl Strawberry hit a home run as a Yankee. And they kind of raised the apple about halfway up, and then they put it down right before you could see the Mets logo. They put it back down.
I love that.
Darryl part of that '86 championship, 2009, the last Yankee championship.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. This is a region that's used to championships. So it's been a minute.
6 strikeouts for Schlittler tonight. It's Brett Beatty who has the only hit so far for the Mets. In fact, he's their only base runner.
Yeah, this was a tough matchup really for the Metropolitans lineup. Their last in fastball batting average in baseball. Going up against Cam Schlittler, a guy that throws 3 different types of fastball. Unless you really change your sights to hit that ball the other way, it's going to be difficult to square him up.
Well, hardly anyone has so far this season. Schlittler has been outstanding for the Yankees. Really last season too, but he really took it to another level toward the end of last season when he developed that cutter. And it was at the behest of Garrett Cole, who said, hey, how about you throw that pitch a little harder and more at the top of the zone. And Schlittler found that to be a pretty good idea. Put it into a game almost immediately, and the dividends were paid off in an incredible way, including in that playoff game against the Red Sox, in which he struck out 12.
If you're a right-handed pitcher and you already have velocity and arm side run, a lot of times when the hitter sees that ball away from them, if you're a left-handed batter, you give up on it, and all of a sudden the cutting action, it just opens up a different world, especially at the top of the zone.
He's only given up 2 earned runs in his last 6 starts, including tonight. Beatty has taken him to a full count.
Beatty did a good job of really driving up his pitch count last at bat. The second time around, all of a sudden you start to see him land that breaking ball to put another component in the hitter's mind.
Check swing, that would have been ball 4. Instead, Beatty went around for strike 3. 7 strikeouts for Schlittler. This was that game against the Red Sox. 8 innings, 12 strikeouts, no walks. Just an incredible postseason performance, really an all-timer.
Overpowered, overmatched. The mound presence was there, the command. Just like that Beatty strikeout, a lot of those strikeouts were the fastballs running out of the zone.
It was the most strikeouts in a postseason game for a pitcher going 8 innings with no walks and no runs allowed. The 4th most strikeouts by a rookie pitcher in a postseason game. Though Livan Hernandez, your guy, still has the record.
He saw that strike zone back in the day too.
Marcus Semien stands in here. What we're seeing tonight has become kind of a typical Schlittler start.
That start against the Red Sox, it was the coming out party. Even though he was great during the regular season, it was like to do that on that stage in that environment against your rival. He's just carried it over to the regular season now. Now there's an expectation, like a Paul Skeens.
Skeens has really been the only pitcher better than Schlittler going back to the middle of last year when Schlittler debuted last July. 3 balls and 1 strike on Semien. Schlittler has not walked anybody today. Only Brett Beatty with a 2-out single in the 2nd has gotten on base. Ball 4, the first walk issued by the big Yankee right-hander. That'll bring H.A. Ewing to the plate. Ewing getting another start in center field for the Mets tonight. Flied out to left his first time. He's 21 years old. And often the Mets have promoted players to the major leagues this young. Showed you Darryl Strawberry and talked about the '86 Mets. Well, there's folks around the Mets who say that Ewing reminds them a lot of Lenny Dykstra.
See the extra base hits, the stolen base component of his game. The athleticism, the arm strength, he has it all. This is a tough matchup even for a veteran hitter.
Ewing flied out to left field his first time. Check swing foul, and it's still 0-2. Ewing was drafted out of high school from Ohio. Big year in the minor leagues last year, which included 70 stolen bases. He's called up to provide a spark for this Mets offense. Certainly did that against the Tigers. Here's another spark now here tonight with Schlittler not giving up much so far.
I'm having a difficult time getting downhill, and you're such a big guy, especially out of the stretch, and you're trying to avoid the runner being able to get a good jump. Hard to get on top of that baseball downhill. Got to slow yourself down just a tick.
1-2, and it's fouled away by Ewing. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Schlittler at 77 pitches in 4 2/3, aiming for his 6th win already this season.
Yankees are 7-2 in his starts this season, so talking to Aaron Boone, they feel very confident every time he is on the mound.
It's in there, strike 3. It's another punch out for Schlittler, 3 in the inning. And he has 8 so far in 5 scoreless frames here at Citi Field. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. All 4 Yankee runs tonight have come with 2 outs, including 6 2-out hits so far in this game.
Not conceding in the inning, not giving away anything. Yankees showing the ability to grind the pitcher down.
Scored the most runs in the majors with 2 outs this year, close to the major league lead in runs scored anyway. 4 runs on 8 hits tonight against the Mets, most of that off of Clay Holmes. Well, Cam Schlittler, 5 shutout innings, 1 hit, 8 strikeouts, putting together another fine performance.
It's only 4-0, but it feels like 10-0 just because of the quality of bats of the Yankees, the ability to really provide traffic in and out the inning. Or the Mets the opposite way of just going in order quietly and not providing any type of true threat to the Yankees.
Schlittler around 80 pitches. We'll see how many more innings he'll be given here tonight. At least 1 more. The Yankee bullpen will have to get involved here at some point. 78 pitches total for Schlittler in 5 innings. The Yankees certainly score a lot of runs. They hit the ball in the ballpark more than any other team. They have not done that tonight. Just a lot of hits piled up on Clay Holmes to bring home 4 runs. Three balls and a strike, the count on Grisham. He's 0 for 3 today. Cody Bellinger's driven in a run. Jazz Chisholm's knocked in 2. And Spencer Jones has an RBI as well. Fly ball to right center. This one sends Benj back near the warning track as he makes the catch. 1 away here in the 6th inning. Grisham now 0 for 4 today. Ben Rice will be the batter. Rice had a single and a run scored in the 3rd. Turned into a lovely night for baseball here in New York. A big crowd at Citi Field. 1 to Ben Rice. Should be right around a capacity crowd here tonight.
Crowd showed up early. Chant battle was going back and forth right in our open.
2 balls, no strikes on Rice. Folks wearing orange and blue tonight have not had much to cheer about. The Mets in their black jerseys. Presumably they'll wear their Citi Connect tomorrow. They usually wear them on Saturdays. Hot. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count.
What's the jawing like as far as this fandom in that stadium right now? Even though the score is what it is, but like I said, the records are thrown out. One side wants to continue to spoil, the other side wants to continue to
do a thumbs up, do a thumbs up.
Put the nail in their coffin of their season if they can. It's the fun. House divided.
3-1 the count on Rice. Aaron Judge is on deck. Swing and a miss makes it 3-2. Rice pops this one up. It's Brett Beatty in shallow left field, retiring Ben Rice. 2 up, 2 down here in the 6th inning. Aaron Judge back in his rookie year 2017, his first game at Citi Field, and he hit an absolute bomb against Robert Gesellman. 457 feet into the upper deck.
I mean, I think it was only fitting to fly right over that Delta sign. That is a long way. Some long home runs hit by
Some of the folks on both sides here tonight. Remember Juan Soto hit one up onto the concourse in the Coca-Cola corner in right field here when he was with the Washington Nationals a number of years ago. There's that home run by Judge. Stanton hit one pretty much just to the left of the scoreboard out there, the big scoreboard in center field. Up at the top of that little section next to the big video board out there. Pete Alonso has sent a couple into the upper deck here as well. Mark Reynolds, who was with the Yankees for a little bit, has officially the longest home run here at Citi Field. 3 balls and 1 strike on Judge.
Well, it won't be the last time you see Aaron Judge hit one into the night.
A lot of it's economic.
Any stadium. He still is in his prime. Talked about how many MVP awards he's won already.
Trying to win his 4th this year and his 3rd in a row. We joined Barry Bonds and Shohei Ohtani as the only players to ever do that. Both of those things. Lead on that one. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Shohei won his 4th MVP last year. Barry Bonds won 7.
Not too many individuals in all sports have won that many MVPs. Continue to play at a high level. Every day, the opposing team, they circle you and still the ability to do that type of damage.
It's 3-2 on Judge. Pops this one up, foul and out of play. Judge has 16 home runs already this year. Showed you earlier on pace for 59. His career OPS against the Mets is 3rd all time, only behind Mark McGwire and Stan Musial. He's had 14 homers in the Subway Series. The record is 15, held by Derek Jeter. Well, that includes 2 that Jeter hit in the World Series in 2000. So full count here on Judge. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Warren tied him up inside and works a 1-2-3-6. Got a Sunday night soccer doubleheader this weekend starting at 5:30 Eastern. Lionel Messi and Inter Miami host Portland. We'll cap off the weekend with Sun Heung-min and LAFC battling Nashville. All coverage exclusively on Apple TV. The Yankees with a 4-0 lead against the Mets in the start of the Subway Series. Cam Schlittler has dominated so far tonight. If the Mets can get something going here with the top of the order due behind Luis Torrens. Looks at a strike. Torrens hit a ball off of the leg of Schlittler back in the 3rd inning. It redirected to Anthony Volpe, who made the play for the out. Mets have only had 1 hit, 1 walk in 5 innings. Not really threatened to score yet in this one, but they're still in it, only down by 4.
A couple of these Mets hitters have done a good job of really running his pitch count up, but nothing to really show for it thus far.
It's a bouncing ball toward Volpe, who waits for it. And Luis Torrens the first out here in the 6th as we send it downstairs to Heidi.
Yeah, here's a look at our home field advantage presented by Zillow. The Mets are defending their home turf here at Citi Field. They are 12-4 against the Bronx Bombers when the Subway Series is here in Queens. They average more than 6 runs a game in that span. And get this, the Yankees haven't won a season series against the Mets since 2017, Wayne.
It's been a while. The Mets played well, especially in their home ballpark here against the Yankees in the Subway Series matchups. Carson Bench waves and misses here. Fortunately for the Mets, they only have to face Cam Schlittler once in this series.
But again, talking about all the injuries, all the guys, the key guys they need in that lineup. And
it's a fly ball to left center field. Easy for Bellinger. 2 up, 2 down.
Not getting some of the core guys back in the foreseeable future. It's going to be tough sledding. Obviously, the Mets played good against the Tigers and were able to show that they can come from behind, but this is a different time. This is a complete breakfast you facing tonight. Cam Schindler being able to command that baseball with the four-seamer and sink in action and in the cutter. I'm sure that man right there is wishing he was out there ready to go to toe against Cam.
It's a foul by Bichette. He's over 2 with a couple of flyouts tonight. Bichette had a terrific season for the Blue Jays last year until he injured his knee. He did come back for the World Series and performed great, including that big home run in Game 7 of the World Series. He's yet to get it going this year on a new 3-year contract with the Mets worth over $120 million.
And that's another guy that's very important just for presence in the lineup. You know he's going to hit around 280 to 300. The power needs to be there, and you need your lower half. And so I wonder if that's still bothering him.
Let's say it's not. There's a strike at the top of the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And 2 homers for Bichette. He hasn't had an extra base hit in a couple of weeks. This is a guy who sprayed the ball all over the place. He had 44 doubles for the Blue Jays last year and hit 18 home runs. Just that big one in the World Series that seemed to put the Blue Jays over the top until they couldn't close it out. Soft ground ball here. Chisholm in front of it. And that's a quick inning for Schlittler. 1, 2, 3 in the 6th.
Weak Tim's on with the blue Yankee fitted. That's just New York. That's just New York. That's just New York. From upstate to the city where they got them bright lights. That's just New York. That's just New York. Every day is fight night, proving what your life like. That's just New York.
Jazz Chisholm to up second this inning, and you may notice he's got the high socks going. He switched up his pants for Jackie Robinson Day as a tribute to Jackie, but he said he felt really good in the baggy high pants, so he kept on wearing them. Said he's channeling the ghost of Jackie at the plate. He's always been into fashion. It's a look good, feel good kind of thing, Wayne.
Well, that's good for Jazz, who has seemingly felt good tonight. He has been on base 3 times, including a 2-run double in the 3rd. He walked and scored in the 5th inning. The Yankees have a 4-0 lead behind a lot of effort from Chisholm and an incredible job by Cam Schlittler once again. It's Tobias Myers on the mound for the Mets after Warren worked an inning and 2/3. We'll just see Myers all the way to the end here, depending on how things go from the Mets offensively.
Cody Bellinger really getting the scoring started, being able to get the Yankee offense on the board, and obviously the athleticism, Jazz Chisholm. This is a lineup that can really grind you down and really do some damage. Continue to have traffic. They're able to break through.
Bellinger lifts one on the infield. It's Bichette with the catch for the first out here in the 7th inning. As New York City sparkles in the background of the Subway Series. They'll play game 2 of this series tomorrow night. Mets have yet to announce a starter. The Yankees will have Carlos Rodon making his 2nd start of the year. Sunday, Freddie Peralta for the Mets in a day game here against Ryan Weathers, who's throwing the ball pretty well for the Yankees.
Yeah, that Yankee rotation getting healthier, getting Rodon back. Going to get Garrett Cole back in the foreseeable future.
They did just lose Max Fried, who went on the injured list. No real timetable yet for Fried, as he has to work his way back from a bone bruise. But Cole should be back after just a couple more rehab starts in the minors. Well, this Yankee pitching staff certainly looks fit to go the distance.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate blow as far as Max Fried. How great he's been in the Yankee uniform.
It's bounced foul by Chisholm.
When you're able to have the ability and the depth to throw quality, it takes a ton of pressure off that offense on a daily basis.
Entering tonight, the Yankees with the 3rd best starting pitchers ERA in the majors and 5th best bullpen. One ball, 2 strikes the count on Chisholm, who's been on base 3 times in this one. Big hit his 2-out 2-run double in the 3rd as he pops this one up along the infield. It's Beatty and Torrens after it, and Torrens makes the catch right near the screen. Chisholm fouls out. 2 up, 2 down here in the 7th. That's all play ball. Don't miss play ball weekend. It's coming up June 5th through the 7th. Encouraging youth everywhere to get out and play. You can visit playball.org to register for a free event near you today. David Cone had a vastly underrated career. He had a lot of accomplishments. Was great for the Mets in the 80s and early 90s. A perfect game as a Yankee. Kind of gets overlooked in my opinion, but how good he really was. Here's a fly ball to left field. Coming in for it is Juan Soto, and it's a quick inning out of the bullpen for Tobias Myers.
To the ring, set the prayer right, new to this thing. Holy garments, watch me do it the mink. Give me the crown, give me the crown, give me the crown, give me the crown.
Yankees out to a 4-0 lead against the Mets, scoring all their runs with 2 outs tonight. They have given Cam Schlittler all that he needs to go out and dominate tonight. 8 strikeouts, 6 innings of 1-hit shutout ball. And he's back out for the bottom of the 7th with Juan Soto leading it off. Soto has struck out both times he's faced Schlittler tonight. And that first pitch hits the inside corner for strike 1. The last time we saw Soto swing, he kind of overextended his back a little bit and was clutching at it going back into the dugout. We have not seen him take a swing since then. No balls and 1 strike on Soto here. And that touches the inside corner as well to make it 0-2.
Velocity is still there, 96 to 97. Going in there half, challenging Juan Soto to be able to try to beat him to the spot, and that's very difficult. Looks like a 2-seam action, being able to lock him up, get ahead in the count.
Soto, then Vientos and Melendez due up here in the 7th. Soto with a fly ball to left center field. That sends Grisham back. Still going out near the wall, and it's gone. That ball carried right out. It's Juan Soto's 250th career home run. He's already halfway to 500.
Well, I guess that hand in that backfield's better. Being able to get on top of that behind in the count 0-2. Silver challenges him once again. And Juan Soto, like we've seen and known and loved, beats him to the spot. Oppo Taco.
Well, the 2nd home run allowed by Schlittler this year. Soto has his 6th of the season. And perhaps a jolt for the Mets as their superstar Juan Soto gets them on the board here in the bottom of the 7th. .250 home runs now for Soto. He is 27 years old. Swing and a miss by Vientos. It's 0-2. So now it's 4-1. Schlittler over 90 pitches, so you figure this will be his last inning. The Mets will try to gear up for the late innings here to try to storm back against their Subway Series rival. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count.
Well, this inning ain't over yet. Hopefully, if you're the Mets, you can get on some traffic. It's been tough sledding up until that home run, and Juan Soto does that time and time again.
There's a ground ball that either kicks off of Schlittler or the mound. Chisholm there with a wide throw. And they rule the runner Vientos out at first as Rice was able to hold the bag. See if the Mets want to challenge that.
Off the leg once again.
Looks like the Mets will challenge the play at first. We'll see here.
First base, the New York Mets.
It's hard to tell if Rice came off the bag there or not. His foot certainly slid. Replay review powered by Zoom. It looks to me like this will be tough to overturn.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of drag as the throw's entering the pocket of the glove.
Mets hoping for another base runner here. As Rice had that foot drag across the base. Question is, did it come off the base and did it stay off the base after he caught the ball?
After review, the runner did stay on the base. The call on the field is confirmed. The runner is out. The New York Metropolitans lose their challenge.
Dan Isonia went full Metropolitans on him. Now there seems to be a little concern about Schlittler on the mound, as Rice was ruled to have at least stayed on the bag long enough there after catching the ball. Not sure what the Yankees want to look at. Maybe they thought Schlittler got hit by that ball up the middle and they just wanted to make sure, but he seems like he's fine again after taking a couple around his feet today.
Seems to be the fourth one in 3 games.
They call it a 1-4-3 put out at first. We'll watch it again. And Schlittler certainly did deflect it again.
The way he falls off to the first base side, it puts him in a tough position to be able to defend himself when the ball's back up the middle. And so
that puts him in the path of the ball too for some of these right-handed hitters hitting it back up the middle. Kind of carries Schlittler right into the play. We've seen that a couple of times now today, plus his last start against the Brewers. As MJ Melendez bats with 1 out and nobody on. Swing and a miss here, and it's 0-2.
Melendez having a tough time getting on top of that cutting action fastball. Coming to the ball game tonight, hitting 130 over his last 12 ball games.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Melendez has struck out twice today. Swung the bat fairly well in the early part of the year. He's scuffled a bit here lately. It's 2-2. Juan Soto, just the 14th player to reach 250 career home runs before reaching 28 years old. He won't turn 28 until October, so whatever he adds on to that from here, push him up that list. 2-2. Melendez is down on strikes for the 3rd time. Strikeout number 9 for Schlittler. 2 down. Alex Rodriguez hit the most home runs before turning 28. Juan Soto gets to 250 here tonight with his opposite field shot.
Seems like he didn't catch enough of it. That's why he was looking, but you see the power and the strength of Juan Soto being the muscle that ball opposite field.
Well, like you said, I guess his back is fine. That was his first swing since that awkward swing he had on the strikeout.
Foot down early in that patented swing and
full torque.
Man.
Gets the Mets on the board here in the 7th inning. Now Beatty with a count 2 balls and no strikes. Yankee bullpen just starting to get loose now as Schlittler is over 100 pitches. It's only the 3rd time as a major leaguer, and the 1st time this season Schlittler has reached 100 pitches. It's ball 3 to Beatty with Simeon on deck. Still some time for the Mets. They're only down by 3.
Showing some frustration and a little bit of fatigue late, even though the velo is there, the execution starting to get away from Cam.
There's a strike to Melendez to make it 3-1, or to Beatty rather. It's now with their 2nd hit of the game on Soto's home run. Beatty whiffing on the 3-1 pitch. Now it's a full count, 3-2. Sharply hit but foul. Schlittler's career high pitches thrown 107. That came in that playoff game against the Red Sox. It's at 105 now.
It's most likely his last batter. Would like to finish out the inning if you're Aaron Boone and company, but throwing 100 pitches, not only arm concern, but this body concern.
Oh no!
Check swing, and Beatty takes ball 4. So Schlittler walks Beatty with 2 outs. I don't know how comfortable Schlittler's feeling right now either. Gingerly walking around the mound, hand on his hip. And Aaron Boone's going to make a change. So the Mets finally get to Schlittler a bit here in the 7th. Juan Soto's home run gets them on the board. Now the Mets will try to dig into the Yankee bullpen, trailing by 3. Google Cloud, a great performance from Cam Schlittler tonight. 9 strikeouts in 6 2/3 innings, only 2 hits allowed.
3 different types of fastballs. You see that right there. Being able to cut and sink and really ride that 4-seam at the top of the zone.
Fernando Cruz gets Simeon to tap one toward third. Tough play, McMahon. He'll have no play. It's an infield hit. And suddenly the Mets will bring the tying run to the plate.
Quality at bats. Going by Beatty, and now all of a sudden a swing and bunt by Simeon. Being able to get these guys on the board, and we've seen a lot of 2-out scoring from the Yankees. Maybe the Mets can continue.
Marcus Simeon prolongs this inning, as did Beatty, who drew a walk chasing Schlittler. Now A.J. Ewing, who hit his first big league homer yesterday, represents the tying run against Fernando Cruz.
Cruz ranks in the 90th percentile in whiff rate and hard hit rate allowed. So this is a tough cover for the young man.
Cruz does get wild sometimes. 11 walks this year. And he bounces that one in there, picks away. Wells couldn't find it. Cruz had to go get it. And now the Mets have 2 men in scoring position.
That's a spike split finger. Went about 52 feet.
Two balls, no strikes, the count on Ewing. A base hit makes it a game here. Beatty's at third base, Simeon at second. The Mets down by 3. And Ewing fouls one off. 2 balls, 1 strike on the rookie Ewing in just his first week in the big leagues. Excelled in the minors last year and the beginning of this year. As the Mets have had injuries to their veterans, they've looked to some younger players to step up. 21-year-old A.J. Ewing has a chance to draw the Mets closer here in the 7th. As time is called behind home plate.
Wells trying to slow Cruz down. This game's starting to speed up a little bit in favor for the Metropolitans.
2 balls, 1 strike, the count. And Ewing lifts one to right center field, but Judge is over. He's there. He's got it. And the Mets settle for 1 here in the 7th. Cruz strands 2, and it stays 4-1 Yankees as the Mets get on the board thanks to Juan Soto's 250th career home run. By Goodyear, and in part by Amazon. Save the everyday. Strike one to Spencer Jones leading off the 8th inning. Mets got one back in the bottom of the 7th. Juan Soto hit a home run, had a chance for more though. They put a couple of runners on with 2 outs. The Yankees have delivered the 2-out hits tonight. The Mets couldn't there in the 7th and settled for just the 1 run.
The Mets really want to chip away from this deficit that they're in the NL East. They have to be able to cash in late in situations like that down the stretch.
Ball 2 to Jones. The National League East has been dominated so far by the Atlanta Braves. And what a start they've been off to. Braves come into tonight's game with a 30-14 record, the best record in baseball. They have a 9-game division lead already. And everybody else in the division under 500, the Braves have just padded their lead and have run away from the others so far.
Well, you got Matt Olson, who's in the running for MVP. Rand's getting that foul tip off the heel of his glove, not bunt.
Braves and the Red Sox are tied at 2 in the 9th inning. As baseball has its rivalry weekend, Cubs and White Sox are playing each other in Chicago. The Dodgers and Angels in the Freeway Series. So why not set up the Braves and the Red Sox, because at one time they did share a city. The Braves originated in Boston. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Jones. So it's a rivalry for the 75 and over crowd that remembers the Braves in Boston. Maybe even all 80 and over, maybe.
See Jones right now starting to get more aggressive with the pass. He's starting to get more comfortable. Aaron Boone says he likes his at-bats. He really hasn't anything to really show for it. But some really good quality at-bats and some key base hits today.
RBIs last time, but he's down on strikes here. As Tobias Myers gets his first strikeout tonight, 1 away in the 8th. Just Fernando Cruz putting away A.J. Ewing to end the 7th.
Yeah, it was tricky because he's trying to throw the split finger and challenges Ewing with that 4-seam fastball, and challenges again. Ewing's going to look at that and say, that's a pitch for me down in the zone. I have to drive in the gap.
Strike to Volpe, who has walked a couple of times tonight, struck out in the 2nd inning.
Boy, way to pick me up, Cat Daddy. Appreciate you.
It's held only 2 hits by Schlittler. They have 3 on the night. Just have a couple cracks left. At the Yankee bullpen. David Bednar, their closer. Two balls, 2 strikes, the count. Bednar 10 out of 11 in save tries this year. Tim Hill, the left-hander, getting loose right now in the Yankee bullpen. It's 3-2. The Phillies had a big comeback in Pittsburgh. They scored 3 in the 9th and then 3 in the 10th. Kyle Schwarber's 2 home runs early in that game. The Phillies now have an 11-8 lead on the Pirates at PNC Park tonight. Here's ball 4. Volpe's on again. 3 walks for him. And he takes first with 1 out as we send it downstairs to Heidi.
Well, Anthony Volpe told me he was really surprised when his rehab was up and he was sent to AAA. He said he did everything they asked, which included playing hurt last year. He said he's gotten encouragement from his teammates. He hopes to show the team that he belongs here. He knows Jose Caballero isn't expected to be down long. And Aaron Boone said, this is really the first time the team's had any competition for that role at shortstop. It's not necessarily a bad thing, Wayne.
Well, not for the Yankees. They'll have a pretty good player in Caballero that's done a nice job at that position so far. We'll see if Volpe can wrestle some playing time from Caballero once he returns from his injury.
Caballero just playing with a lot of confidence, and that's what they want to see from Volpe. And so whether it's offensively or defensively, they want to see that consistency. And I think that backhanded play off Cam Slittler, being able to make that play will help him say, hey man, I'm a big leaguer, and you're dealing with adversity at the highest level on the world's popular team. There's a microscope on you, and so they're waiting for him to reascend and really bounce back and be that player he once was.
Kimbrel getting ready in the Mets bullpen. Here's a fly ball to left from Wells. Hit pretty well. It's Soto at the warning track. He's got it. 2 outs as Volpe returns to first. Volpe doesn't usually draw a lot of walks, but he's walked 3 times tonight. He's at first with Grisham coming in.
So having those quality at bats and being able to get on base, you're hoping, you're the Yankees front office. Now all of a sudden the barrels start to follow, and you saw him chase out of the zone early on with a slider that was non-competitive. We'll see.
Bouncing ball. It is grabbed by Simeon, spinning with a throw to first. Good play to end the inning by the Gold Glove winning Marcus Simeon. Lurking beneath the surface on Widows Bay, a quaint island town off the coast of New England. After decades of calm, the old stories that seem too ludicrous to be true start happening once again. Blending genuine horror with character-driven comedy, Widows Bay is now streaming on Apple TV. Fernando Cruz here in the bottom of the 8th against Luis Torrens. Ground ball is held onto by McMahon after a slide, and he throws out Torrens, 1 away.
That's exactly why he's over there in the hot corner. Man can defend with the best of them. Hasn't had really quality at bats, but goes over to his left. It makes that very difficult play look easy.
Some good defense throughout the night. Simeon just made a great play in the last half inning. And now here another good play, nicely done by Ryan McMahon. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning, as Carson Benj is the batter. Cruz has now fulfilled his 3-batter rule, but the lefty Hill warming up in the bullpen. Looks like Cruz is going to stay on for Benj and then Bichette, and then we'll see if it gets down to Hill and Soto in a big spot.
If you're Aaron Boone, you're hoping that Cruz settles in a little bit better as far as the split finger command.
2 balls, 1 strike. The count on Benj. 0 for 3 today. Mets have only 3 hits. Beatty with a single. Soto's home run. Simeon with an infield hit. Oh, Bichette on deck. Mets trying to get something going late here. Benj with a hard hit ground ball, but it's right at Chisholm. 2 up, 2 down here in the 8th. Let's go down to Heidi.
Wayne Bo Bichette 0 for 3, but he has 2 deep flyouts today. I talked to him before the game. He said he has been searching a bit at the plate. He said he's a feel guy when it comes to hitting, and at times this year he feels like he's close to locking it in, but he just hasn't quite gotten there. He does say he has been watching more video lately, Wayne.
Well, I was working with J.D. Martinez, who the Mets have brought in as a special assistant yesterday. The thing about Bichette, he has not really hit fastballs this year, which is unusual for him. Even a miss on that first pitch fastball from Fernando Cruz.
Well, there's a couple things you want to break down the bat path, and that's why he's watching tape, because he feels like the pitch recognition is there, but whatever he's doing with the barrel causing him to get under that ball. That's a nasty split finger by Cruz, followed by that fastball. And Carlos Mendoza talked about it. He's hitting the ball hard, but the productivity, especially with runners on, is not there. And so this is exactly why you signed him to that lucrative deal, to cash in with runners in score position.
And right now, he's just trying to set the table to give Soto a chance here in the bottom of the 8th. Tim Hill, the lefty in the bullpen, would face Soto if Bichette keeps this inning going. Soto hit a home run his last time. The Mets need someone else to deliver tonight as well. It's a 4-1 game here in the bottom of the 8th. And Bichette is down on strikes. Fernando Cruz with a 1-2-3 inning leaves Soto in the on-deck circle and keeps the Yankees in front by 3.
Houston Astros up 1-0. Spencer Arrighetti on the mound. Jake Berger grounds out the plate here. Ball almost thrown away. It is reviewed. Call is confirmed. It's an out. Arrighetti through 7 innings. He's given up 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, no hits on 94 pitches, guys.
We'll see if they let him continue there with 94 pitches through 7 innings. There was no hitters were thrown in the major leagues all of last season. So it's been a while, especially for a starting pitcher before that.
It's a little bit tricky down there in Houston because they've had a ton of injuries to that rotation. So anybody healthy, I don't know if they're going to push him past that 100-pitch limit.
Ben Rice leads off here in the top of the 9th inning. 2 hits with a run scored. Astros have had a lot of no-hitters over the last number of years. Had one in the World Series. Just the second no-hitter in World Series history. Don Larson's perfect game was the only other for that one, started by Christian Javier.
Oh no, Danny!
Nice one around on the swing. Last no-hitter thrown by a starting pitcher in the major leagues was Blake Snell in August of 2024, and he was with the Giants. There were a few in 2024. Ronel Blanco threw one for the Astros at the very beginning of the season. And you had Dylan Cease on that list, Michael Lorenzen in 2023. The Cubs had a combined no-hitter at the end of the 2024 season. That's the last no-hitter by any team. The last perfect game was thrown by a Yankee, Domingo Germán. Ben Rice serves one out to right. Benj is back for it, out near the wall. It is gone. Ben Rice has crushed another one. He takes Kimbrel deep for his 14th home run this year.
Talked about his hard hit rate. That baseball was shot out of a cannon lane.
It is a 5-1 Yankee lead, and what a blast by Ben Rice. Said it earlier, he has just pulverized the baseball this year. There's Judge smacking one. Nice play. Bichette plants and throws. Stretched by Vientos. Judge is out. One out here in the 9th inning. Been a lot of great defensive plays tonight, but a couple of homers too, and this one smashed by Ben Rice.
Rice getting on top of that four seam that looks like it's rising. Kimbrel threw 2, but they were non-competitive. This one, he can get the barrel of the baseball and loud noises. He says, I'm going to continue to eat. Uncle Ben.
We did an Uncle Ben commercial in the offseason, so they got it all figured out already for Ben Rice. Second time he's homered off Kimbrel already in his career, and he's only 2 off the American League lead behind his own teammate Aaron Judge. 1 ball, 1 strike on Bellinger. It's 5-1 now, and the Mets Only 3 hits tonight, and a lot of work to do in the bottom of the 9th. It's a bouncer foul pass first. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Bellinger. Well, this play by Bo Bichette.
Seeing that range, the athleticism. That ball found him, and really the arm strength to be able to plant his feet.
Thought he was going to play third base this year, but he's moved back to shortstop with Lindor out. This ball hit right at him as well. Another backhand. He'll bounce this throw and get it there in time to beat Bellinger.
Smart veteran play. Skid it out of your glove. Belly still can move at a high level, so if he would have took another step, Belly easily could have been safe.
Jazz Chisholm has had a solid night. 3 times on base, including a 2-run double, one of the big hits in this game on the Yankees side. Yankees have scored 4 of their 5 runs with 2 outs tonight, including the back-to-back doubles by Bellinger and Chisholm in the 3rd inning. Spencer Jones had a 2-out RBI in the 5th. Ben Rice will lead off home run here in the top of the 9th. In there from Kimbrel in the 22. Great Kimbrel, long time great closer. Many teams over the years.
17th year in the big leagues.
We're far up the food chain at this point in terms of all-time saves leaders. How many of those he'll have as far as opportunities with the Mets? It's 5th all-time in saves, 4th all-time in strikeouts by a reliever. Right up there on the all-time saves list with former Mets John Franco and Francisco Rodriguez. Chisholm loops one the other way and has a base hit over the outstretched glove of Beatty. It's the 3rd hit for Chisholm and his 4th time on base. Formula One heads north. The Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. The championship battle intensifies on Notre Dame Island as the grid tackles heavy braking zones and the unforgiving Wall of Champions. Watch it live next Sunday, May 24th, 4 p.m. Eastern, Apple TV, the new U.S. home of Formula One.
Watching on Apple TV too.
You got into the league just as the Expos were wrapping it up in Montreal. Did you play there?
Yes.
That throw gets away. Chisholm, though, will not advance. They were also playing some home games in Puerto Rico at the time too.
Second start in the big leagues.
In Puerto Rico?
No.
Montreal.
Montreal, yes sir.
Guessing game.
Hit a ball off the wall, and that was my tutorial to Vlad Sr. as he picked up the ball and threw me out at second by 30 feet. Came in the dugout and everybody said, "That's Vlad out there." I said, "Duly noted."
Understood. At Olympic Stadium.
Oh,
just snuck it in.
A great environment. A great environment. Second to none. Second to none. They were competitive, and it was fun when they went down to Puerto Rico as well.
Chisholm throw to first, and he's out. Kimbrel picks him off to end the inning. The leadoff homer extends the Yankee lead. Is 5-1 after this blast by Ben Rice.
Home of the Giants, home of the Jets, home of the Yankees, home of the Mets. Try to disrespect because of rep. You best to protect your neck, no respect to death. New York, where's that? 'Cause we hold it down. New York City, we the best hands down. New York, where's that? 'Cause we hold it down.
transmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Juan Soto's 250th career home run tonight. The lone highlight for the Mets on the offensive side. Only managed just that one run on 3 hits in 8 innings here. Cam Schlittler struck out 9. He's in line for the win. Fernando Cruz recorded an inning and a third. Now David Bednar in a non-save situation with a 4-run lead will try to close this one out for the Yankees. 1 to Soto with that home run in his last at bat in the 7th inning.
Might have been the Mets' best inning as well offensively after that home run. Got runners in scoring position and didn't cash in.
Balls and no strikes to count on Soto. The challenge for the Mets has been to find other offense. The Mets have been one of the lowest scoring offenses in the major leagues so far. Soto's numbers have been good, not great to this point in the season, kind of similar to his beginning of last year. Without a lot of the guys they were counting on, they need Soto to carry the load and then some. I think some of these other guys to step up too, and Bo Bichette continues to be confounding. 0 for 4 tonight. And Soto looks at a strike. Can hold his swing there, and it's 3-2.
Hoping for more run production from veterans like Simeon and Bo Bichette. You saw them show a little bit of power and teeth as far as that series before against the Detroit Tigers, and you're like, okay, this is when we go. This is when we go. And, you know, great motivation going up into this big series against the Yankees, but ran into a buzzsaw.
0-4. Soto does draw the walk. Second time he's been on base. We'll see if the Mets can get something going here in the bottom of the 9th. Some work to do against Bednar. He does have a 3.5 ERA so far this year. 10 saves and 11 tries. Bednar, the former Pittsburgh Pirate and Pittsburgh native. He's been to a couple of All-Star games.
Always tricky, especially when closers are in non-save situations. Seems like the sharpness, the intensity is not quite there.
Flying out of play by Vientos. Vientos has started to come around a bit lately. 0 for 3 though tonight. Mets, when entering the 9th inning trailing, have not had a comeback win since Pete Alonso hit that home run off Devin Williams in the National League Wild Card Series in Milwaukee in 2024. Here's a ground ball to second base. Chisholm has it. Flipped to Volpe. 1 over to first. 2, a double play. 4-6-3 for the first 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th.
Excellent pitch by Bednar. This is a tailor-made double play. Angel's hitting this 212 at home as opposed on the road 265 with 5 home runs and 13 RBIs.
One to MJ Melendez. If the Mets don't score again tonight, it'll be 13 times already this year they've scored either 1 run or no runs in a game. It's the second most in the major leagues, only behind the Giants, who've done it 14 times. 1 ball, 1 strike on Melendez. They were dominated by Schlittler tonight. Soto driving in the only run with that homer. The Yankees pitching continues to support. It's been a pretty high scoring offense on top of it. In a wayward American League so far this year, you have to like the Yankees' chances.
Absolutely. Offensively, even with the loss of Max Fried, they still have some talent and some depth in that rotation. other teams like the Mariners that had high hopes coming into this season. It just seems like it's the Yankees and the rest of the field. But you know what? Got something special going on down there in Tampa.
No, they do.
They got something special down there in Tampa, so we'll see.
Rays have played unbelievably well to start the year. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the only other team, along with the Yankees, that has really any distance between themselves and 500 in the American League. Cleveland's 3 over. White Sox and A's entered the night 1 over. That's about it. 2-2 the count on Melendez. Hit hard to the right side and through. A base hit. Chisholm couldn't reach it with a dive. So the Mets stick around here. A 2-out single for Melendez.
Melendez finally got a fastball down. That's the area he can handle it. He's been swinging and missing, trying to catch with that fastball at the top of the zone. And even with Jazz Chisholm, with his athleticism, can't get to that baseball.
Now Beatty, who's been on base twice, as Melendez takes off for second base. And gets there uncontested on defensive indifference.
Challenge.
Mets challenging that pitch, which is a strike.
Pitch was a strike. The New York Mets have 1 challenge remaining.
Powered by T-Mobile. Mets really haven't used their challenges much tonight. They still have 1 left.
Trying to do whatever you can to provide some traffic and trying to get ahead in the count early.
I'm gonna give you a second.
The Yankees, if they hang on here, will have 2 more chances to win a series here at Citi Field for the first time since 2018. The Mets, who have been 8-4 so far in the month of May, will try to regroup here tomorrow night for game 2 of this series. One ball, 2 strikes the count on Brett Beatty.
Looks like the Yankee faithful still hung around. I didn't know the D train made it out all the way out here to Queens.
40,000 plus in attendance tonight as Beatty fouls another one behind home plate. Fireworks after the game here as well. A lot of people did not stick around for the fireworks show. Yankees trying to put away a 5-1 ball game here. As Beatty, it's a bouncing ball that gets into right field, a base hit. Melendez heads for the plate. The Mets get another run. 2-out RBI for Beatty makes it 5-2.
Beatty gets another fastball. They want this away, but it's pulled middle just enough. Beatty to muscle it to the outfield and get another RBI.
So now the batter, Marcus Semien, who had a base hit his last time. And he lines it, caught by McMahon to win the ball game. The Yankees take game 1 of the Subway Series. 4 2-out runs plus a homer from Ben Rice. Cam Schlittler outstanding again, and the Yankees beat the Mets 5-2.
Starts and ends on the mound for me, Wayne, and Cam was excellent tonight, using that fastball all over the zone, but a ton of swing and miss at the top of the zone. But his mound presence was elite today. Like Aaron Boone says, every time we have him on the lineup card, we're very confident that we can win that ball game, and he has really developed into a frontline ace.
Well, that he most certainly has. It's an excellent performance from Schlittler tonight. 9 strikeouts, 6 2/3 innings. Only blemish Soto's home run. The Yankees get back in the win column after losing 5 of their last 6, and they beat their rivals, the Mets, here tonight at Citi Field 5-2. Schlittler now 6-1 with a 1.35 ERA and 10 starts on the season.
Yeah, he might have to have that All-Star game rest because he's definitely in the running for the Cy Young All-Star game. You just hope and pray that man continues to stay healthy because he's going to be dominant with that type of stuff.
At least it's close this year. It's in Philadelphia, the All-Star game, so Schlittler won't have to go far, but he is certainly on his way as he is standing by.